And is it a profitable business?
Yes. Now, depends on how you handle your business. At 91.9 Friends FM, we run an RJ hunt. Every year we've been doing it for the last 10 years. And we take people who've never been a part of radio, who are the winners, and they start RJing. Out of the 9 RJs on the station, 6 of them are from the RJ hunt. Ladies used to come with me when they wanted to ride on the bike. And I never used to party. You can't, at 6 a.m. in the morning, you can't put on a radio and suddenly a lungi dance. You'll most probably switch it off. I come from a business family.
Okay.
I can get back to business, our properties, etc. A lot of stuff I can do. But at the end of the day, I was living my passion. I've received calls of people down, people wanting to end their lives, people having marital problems, divorce case. Whole lot of people on the phone live into radio.
If you're looking at modern office spaces in Kolkata, if you are looking at a reliable virtual office space, if you are looking at an office which is equipped to handle all your needs, then look no further than Easy Daftar in Kolkata. Special thanks to Easy Daftar for being our venue partner for today's episode. I'm sitting down with one of the most loved voices of the country. Yes, absolutely. He's also like a personal therapist to a lot of people with his show Direct Dil Se. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting down with Jimmy sir. I call him sir because we share the same college. He's my alumna. And hi sir, welcome to the show. How do you feel?
First of all, don't call me sir. You make me feel old.
It is respect. आप same college से but
it feels nice in conversation with you, Jyodeep, and it's such a small world. And somewhere or another, we always tend up meeting up.
Always, yes.
And you also, like me, is many a time surrounded by music and by beautiful people.
Yes.
So that's what life is, and I think it's a pleasure being with you all. And I love this line called "Twisted Truths."
Right.
It's so definitive, Truths most of the time are always twisted.
Always, yes.
And I think you're getting down to the reality of it, and that's wonderful. Right. It's a pleasure being out here.
Right. It'll be fair to say that you know a little bit about radio. So my first question will be directed towards you. It's 2025. Does radio have a future?
I've been in radio since 94. And I would not have been in it if it did not have a future. It's ever growing. It's ever innovating. It's ever inventing. And it's ever using technology. Today, a lot of radio we do works on technology. It's high tech.
Right.
Systems are computerized. Music is scientifically chosen to mood mapping. Radio is growing. And I'll give you a small example. When I started in 94, I still remember July. It was July. I did my first ever show, 26th of July. But before that time it was only All India Radio FM.
Right, obviously.
It had about 3.6 lakhs listeners in Calcutta. Private FM started that time. It was only on a single frequency. There were 3, 4, 1 hour, 2 hour channels. And after 6 months, from July to December, a survey was taken again. And FM grew from 3.6 lakhs to 26.6 lakhs. In the first 6 months. Today, in the Calcutta city and surroundings, if you look at Calcutta as a city and the suburbs, the population is about 1.5 crores.
Right.
1 crore 6 lakh plus people are listening to radio.
Wow.
That's the universe of radio in Kolkata. So, when I look down the years, so much has been happening.
Right.
Music has changed, likes have changed, interactivity has changed. Computerization has brought about a huge engagement in radio in a big way. I'm currently with the station, which is 24/7 live.
Right.
Secondly, we are hybrid. We are simultaneously on radio as well as on digital
platforms.
So the world is watching and hearing. Calcutta is hearing, and there's a lot of engagement. I still feel, people say, what is the future of radio? I say radio is still a baby and it's growing. It learned how to walk. It's jogging now. As time goes by, it'll be running. And trust me, today, as a radio station, it's technology which is driving us to the next extent.
Right.
And the technology is such that I can sit in the house with a laptop and do my show live without even getting into the studio. So that's how technology is advanced.
Right.
I can take a laptop and go anywhere for any major show, for any concert, and do a full hybrid live broadcast, means visually and audibly on the station. So it's gone to the next level, which is unimaginable, unthinkable. And I feel this is just the beginning of technology
Right.
for radio.
So you've spent over 2 decades on radio.
3 decades.
Three decades. How has radio changed over the years, apart from technology?
Okay. See, first of all, when we started radio, there were, we used to play audio cassettes, we used to play DATs, we used to play records, we used to play CDs had just come in. And everything used to be manual. Ads also used to be put in spools. First change has been, if I look at the 2000s, it's been computerized. Everything is on 2 screens.
All right.
Your music, your buttons, the RJs talk. So a single person sitting in the studios is handling calls, handling radio, handling digital simultaneously. It has changed a lot. It's become more automated. It's become more go-getting. It's sounding tight and fresh. Previously we used to rely a lot on manual work.
Right.
Let go time, proper timing.
Right.
Everything goes here. Everything is on the computer.
Right.
And you can adjust. You can check. Even while the show is going on, you can input onto the computer additional things which you want to be put on.
Right.
Basically, yeah. So that's one of the ways it's gone ahead. And it's gone ahead, where the city changes, the people change, whether it be fashion, whether it be music, whether it be style, it's moved with the times. Today, the kind of music we play, the way we interact, we go live from location, we engage in location, it's all engaging and live. Right. Previously, radio was mostly recorded shows with a couple of calls coming in, couple of letters coming in. Today, it's a two-way traffic.
Right.
And we are moving with times, like as I said, what's currently viral, what's currently the in thing, that's what radio is all about.
Right.
So first is technology. Second is moving with times. Thirdly is the way you create innovative content.
Right.
Radio has become 3-dimensional. You're on air, you're on digital, you're on ground, across. So you're ultimately creating a 360-degree programming or solution or innovation. So it's no more just a radio. If people say, oh, you're on radio, I say I'm an audio business. Today, radio is way expanded. Radio is just one arm of audio business.
Right.
You have music, you have podcasts, you have stories, you have audio stories. There's so much.
Right.
So radio is a part of audio business, and radio is one of the most powerful areas compared in a media. I'll give you a small example. You have a contest. You have a contest in a newspaper. Big ad comes out, you have to cut out, fill it up and send it. You have a contest announcing on the hoarding.
Right.
You look at it, you pass by, seems interesting, you participate, don't participate, that's a different issue. You have a contest on television, you participate, you SMS, and you get a message saying, hey, we've received your SMS, we'll get back. You have a contest on digital. It just depends. If you're a viral factor, people will come on, people may participate, may not participate, or people may participate after 1 or 2 hours.
Correct.
Messages.
Correct.
6 o'clock, you announce a contest live on radio. By 7 o'clock, you have 1,000+ answers. You have demographics. You have known age-wise demographics, male-female-wise demographic, location-wise demographic. And by the end of the hour, you have an answer and you have a winner.
Right.
Just see how effective the medium is. Instantaneous, interactive, engaging, and happening as it's happening. No other medium, not even digital, is as powerful as radio today. Digital may be the in thing, but radio is so powerful that it connects in reality, it engages in reality. Yes, digital you may go live, people may engage, but radio is an ongoing process 24/7.
Right. And is it a profitable business?
Yes. Now, it depends on how you handle your business.
Right.
If you don't know how to handle it right, you may be going down the wrong road. But if you know how to handle it right, it is a profitable business. But again, like any business, you need to innovate, you need to refresh, you need to change direction as you move forward. Likes and dislikes of the city. Jimmy likes dance music. I can't have my station playing dance music only.
Obviously, correct.
You have to cater to the crowd. And the catering to the crowd is an ever-changing mode. Because what they like today, They may not like tomorrow. It's like the algorithms on digital.
Obviously.
Today it's 9 p.m. it's viral, and 9 p.m. is the time to post. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, it may change.
Correct.
So the same way, radio needs to move with times. Radio is ever emerging. Radio is ever innovative. And you need to innovate. You need to create innovation. Like I'll give you a small example. I had this dream of mine years ago, and it took us some time, but I created an entire radio studio, a full-fledged radio studio on a hoarding, which was just on Kamak Street. 15 days we broadcasted live from the studio. Traffic stopped.
Yeah.
And we actually had eyeballs engaging.
Right.
So you need to be innovative. Again, for another client, we actually took a hot air balloon and we created an entire studio in a 22 square feet area. I mean, 22 diameter area.
Right.
And we were broadcasting while we were traveling 100 feet or 150 feet in the air. While we were moving at that particular time, we were broadcasting live with the winners. So you need to innovate, you need to differentiate, you need to create product value, product engagement. Like for example, say you are positioning a drink.
Right.
I would actually create a full hoarding studio with the property. How? I would take the bottle 3D bottle, inside the 3D bottle be a radio studio. And you would engage with a radio studio product live. And you're using the medium of radio. People are hearing you, people are watching you, people are seeing you, and suddenly you become a case study.
That's brand integration on a different level altogether.
And that is what radio is all about. See, voice is so powerful. I'll give you how radio works. I call it, and what a lot of us call it is mode mapping. You can't, at 6 a.m. in the morning, you can't put on a radio and suddenly a lungi dance.
Correct.
You'll most probably switch it off.
Right.
It's like someone waking you in the morning while you're fast asleep and pulling you and tugging out of bed. You'll get disgusted and most probably hit the person.
Correct.
Same way radio works in the same way. When you get up in the morning, the mood builds up slowly, soft music builds up. While you're getting ready, it energizes you. And while you're getting out into your work area, it super energizes you. As soon as you get into a late morning, the music again tones down a little because housewives and shopkeepers are. So you have mood mapping. We map as per the psychic of the human personality. So if you have a TG, say 18 to 45, you will create music and map according to that. If you have a TG 45 to 65, you will map and create according to that. The moods, what they do, how they do, when they get up, when they sleep, a whole lot of stuff. So radio is not just going into the studio and playing music and talking. It is an entire science in itself.
Right. So, however, there are very few players, handful of players in the market, whether it is Calcutta, whether it's in India. Why? Because is it like an expensive affair to start a radio station?
No, it's not an expensive affair, but the kind of investment you put in, recovery takes time.
Right.
Suppose I'm saying you have to start a station in Metro. Years ago, you would spend anywhere to about 10 crore rupees.
Okay.
Plus you would pay government license fees.
Correct.
That would be retro across, repro rate across 10 years. But you'll have to pay a certain percentage of your turnover, irrespective of whether you make profit or you make a loss. You have to pay a certain percentage. So it takes time for radio stations to recover, especially radio stations who've got a huge network. To recover, it takes a humongous time. So people have to have little deep pockets.
Right.
It's a profitable business in the long run.
Right.
And
how long are we looking at?
For a good amount of time. We are in the third phase. Means today, the station which I started off, when the private frequency came in, is about 22 years old.
Right.
The station I'm with right now is going to be 19 years old in February. So after the third phase, we look at the fourth phase, where the government will again extend the license for 10, 15 years at a certain fee. So it's going to be an ever medium. And trust me, it is also an area where the government makes money because they don't have to spend anything. They're giving you a license, they're charging. They're taking a certain percentage of your turnover. There are a lot of rules and regulations. You have to use the infrastructure by Prasar Bharati, so again you pay them. But in a way, it's good. I'll tell you why. Because the government has created that ambience and the atmosphere for us to broadcast. They are doing a lot also to ensure that radio moves up. But I told you, radio is like a drop in the ocean. There are other more important factors. And I suppose radio's time will come in terms of rapid development. You see small countries, very small countries. Like I'll give you an example in Nepal. They have 15 or 16 radio stations. It's as big as Bengal.
Right.
You know, so and you go to LA, you'll have 108 FM channels in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Literally 108. It starts from it actually moves, like we have like 98.1, 99
Correct.
point this thing. We
Correct.
move 0.8.
Correct.
They move 0.3, 0.2. So it's literally like you hardly turn the knob on until the next
And
station.
next station.
But again, over there, running a radio station is very easy. If we have fixed fee, you have to go into the genre which is not there. Like if you say I want to play English music, they may not allow you.
Right.
If you want to play Spanish music, you want to play sentimental music, that kind of genre could be available, and they'll give you the license after various things. So there are a lot of things to be thought of, to be and secondly, also, no one can just start a radio station in India.
Obviously.
You have to have a good background.
Right.
You have to be cleared by the ministry of various ministries. You have to have a certain standing. Only then you're allowed to bid. Otherwise, you're not even allowed to bid.
So would you call these as maybe regulations, or would you call these as bottlenecks?
See, I would call these as regulations.
Okay.
I wouldn't call this as bottlenecks. It takes time. But the regulations are very important. Otherwise, you don't know who's running a radio station. Radio is a very powerful medium. Tomorrow, I announce anything on radio, I have 1 crore people listening to me.
Correct.
Or 50 lakh people.
Right.
You could impact.
Correct.
So I think
Correct.
these are regulations which should be followed, and it is a little time consuming. But I think it's for better, for the ultimate that we know who's running the radio station,
Right.
how is it being run, what are the policies in being run, not a total clarity.
And what are the monthly overheads generally?
It depends.
If you can give us the overall.
Like if you have,
Like obviously there is salaries of the staff. That is one.
if you look at smaller stations or metro stations in normal cities, could have anywhere between 5 to 7 crores overheads per year.
Per year.
Yeah.
Okay.
A bigger metros like a Delhi or Bombay may have 20 or 24 crores a year because the salaries are very high.
Right.
So it just depends,
Right.
And today it's not that, you have to be brilliant. Like at 91.9 Friends FM, we run an RJ hunt. Every year we've been
Yeah.
doing it for the last 10 years. And we take people who've never been a part of radio, who are the winners, and they start RJing. Out of the 9 RJs on the station, 6 of them are from the RJ hunt.
Wow.
6 of them. And they are doing very well, in fact. In fact, for Friends FM in the current survey which was conducted, out of 14 shows, the top 14 shows, Friends FM has got 6 top shows, which is nearly about 40-45% of the total top shows,
Right.
which shows where many of them are the young, new RJs who've come in.
RJs, yeah.
So they're doing a good job here.
Right. And how did you decide to get into this? Was it because you had a great voice and everybody in college was like, "Hey, Jimmy has a great voice, you should,"
Mistake.
or was it like it was just happened?
I'll tell you. First of all, I used to love music when I was
Right.
young, and I enjoyed music. I used to listen to a lot of radio. Then one day, by mistake, it was 1983 February. My late father was a member of Calcutta Swimming Club. I used to go there.
And you were a DJ there. That's what I've heard from my sources.
Not yet. So I used to go every Saturday there, and then suddenly one Saturday, I just finished class 10. I got my first motorbike, and I used to zoom, and I used to enjoy music. So my first time I went there, I enjoyed it so much that I used to go every Saturday. Suddenly, one particular night, there was a DJ who used to play there. I used to enjoy the music. He had a bit too much.
Okay.
And while playing the music, he went to sleep.
Okay.
The music stopped.
Okay.
There was the lady committee member who was the chairman of the entertainment committee. She called me and said, "Jimmy, would you like to start DJing from next Saturday?" I said, "I got no idea." She said, "You like music?" I said, "I love music." Start. I said, "Why not? Let's." So next Saturday came my world of audio cassettes. My world of audio was 6 audio cassettes.
Okay.
That was my world of music. And I started DJing on a Sonodyne cassette deck, a Cosmic cassette deck with a Cosmic amplifier and 4 speakers. That's how I started teaching. Then it built up, and then I started doing a lot of engagement. I couldn't speak to save my life that time.
Okay.
Let me tell you. And that also happened how? I remember when the Saturday nights were doing well, the club decided to get a very powerful system with a mixer and a mic. So when the mic came, I said, "Chalo, try karte hai, why not?" I used to hear a lot of these goras on radio speaking well, so I said, if they can do it, we can also do it. So it was one Saturday night, the May Queen Ball, 700 people in that packed hall. I said, nah, आज तो mic लेके कुछ बोलना ही पड़ेगा. I was all ready. Mic was ready. Song was ready. And one song was playing. I said, before the next song starts, I'm going to announce. I'm going to kind of, play it. I was nervous. Time came to announce the song. I announced the wrong song. I stopped the song which was playing instead of playing the song which I was supposed to start, and the mic fell out of my hand. That's how I learned. That's how I started talking. And then after that, I in '93, as the process was going, Taj approached me to launch their discotheque incognito. I had never played on professional equipment till then.
Okay.
That was the first time I played on professional equipment. And remember, I launched it, with MTV, Danny McGill, Sophia. Then there was a night with Aishwarya, and a whole lot, Then I've done opening acts for Dr. Alban, Tata Young, Paul Oakenfold. A lot of people where, even for the Brian Adams also. Not now, once previously, basically. They need to have an opening act to pep up the crowd, and then they start, basically. Yeah. So, a lot of experience, and I'm happy I learned it my way, the tough way. And then 1993 December, I remember I was contacted by Taj to start the discotheque.
Right.
And in 92 December, and 93 April they started.
Right.
I started DJing on professional equipment for the first time. It was an experience. Major shows, major personalities, and that was 3 years experience. And in 94, suddenly I got a call, early 94, maybe Jan. I got a call from somebody who said, Jimmy, would you like to do radio?
Right.
So I said, I've never done radio. So no, we like the way you talk and rap. I think you'll be good for radio. So I said, okay, let me know. So February I was called for interviews, and the stalwarts of industry interviewed me. I was happy because you get to learn so much. Krishnan, Mr. Krishnan, who was the Artstak head, and then there was Mr. Srinivasan, who was the director North for one of the major publications, and great guys. And then I started as a freelance RJ.
Okay.
My first broadcast was on 26th of July, 1994. I remember all those days, all the private FM stations used to broadcast from AIR. Because you were only given 107, and each private FM had 1 hours or 2 hours. So you used to go to AIR to broadcast.
Okay.
There was no studios.
Right.
So I still remember I walked in. The first ever private FM broadcast I did in the city of Kolkata. I walked in, and then there was an engineer from Delhi. So I said, Bhai, kya karna hai? There were DATs, there were cassettes, there were record players. He said, kuch nahi karna, aap mic ka slider upar rakha, baat karo. So I said, seems easy. So 7 o'clock, the top of the hour, which is the station signature tune, which signifies the station, came on. I just said 2 words. I put up the slider and said, I don't know what I said. I said, good morning, or I said something. I didn't realize my voice was so powerful. The view meters on the studio mixer went to the red. The mixer clipped.
And that was your first ever show?
The mixer clipped. It was still functioning, but it clipped. And because the mixer output went way above level, so ultimately what happened was the transmission clipped. And I was off air for 1 minute. That's how I started my radio career.
Wow.
So it's been a learning experience, and I think that's the best way. Today you have DJs in every para with the best of equipment playing. We didn't have. We used to play on cassettes.
Right.
You give a DJ a cassette today to play, most probably they'll be lost.
Right.
So what can I do? That kind of stuff, basically.
Right. Did you ever, during this 30-year journey, did you ever think that I should have tried something else? No,
I come from a business family.
Okay.
I can get back to business, our properties, etc. A lot of stuff I can do. But at the end of the day, I was living my passion. And a big hats off to my late father, my mother, the encouragement they gave me in those days, saying, you like it, you love it, just go ahead and do it.
Right.
And that's what my thing to a lot of parents are. That, let your kids love what they do. Enjoy what they do. It could be a passion. Let them study, but let them enjoy. Maybe that passion will become their career. Maybe that passion will take them way above. Right. Like somebody may paint brilliantly, may become like one of the top painters in the country. And trust me, today creative people do make a good amount of money.
Absolutely.
And you're living your passion, you're getting paid for it. I think that's the best thing which can happen.
Correct. So we were talking about if you ever considered an alternate career.
See, if I did not do radio, if I was not a DJ, most probably I would have been into business.
Right.
I would have been into computers and electronics and electricals and property. Uh, but I'm happy I followed my passion,
Right.
because today I've learned on my own. Those days there was no one to teach us. We were trial and error, we were learning. And I've enjoyed my passion. And I strongly believe and I strongly feel, if you love what you do and do what you love, you'll always be successful. It may take time, but you'll always be successful. You know, there's no two ways about it. And I've seen it happening across professions, across people with various passions. Even if they are businessmen, they are following a passion, they are superbly rocking in their
Right.
passion.
Yeah.
I know of one of the top shots, one of the top industrialists, very big. He doesn't have to do what he's doing, but he loves singing and music. And he's doing a great job there. And he's
Right.
living his passion.
Right.
And that's his kind of, maybe relaxation. But to me, music has been my relaxation. Radio and showbiz has been my passion. And best part of the show, I've taken it one level up also. Just 7 days ago, I released some of my own created tracks,
Yes.
which I've done the lyrics, I've created the music, I've programmed it, and I've used samples and loops, and even written the lyrics of the song. And it's been a lovely experiment. I'm quite satisfied. So, I look at it, it's not, I need to be there or I need to do this. I'm creating lovely music and I'm happy about it. That's my passion.
Right. So, especially in India, or rather the Indian subcontinent, parents often put their dreams on their children, because we were talking
Most
about,
of the time, yes.
we're
A
talking
doctor's
about,
son will become a
yes,
doctor.
most of
engineer.
the times, you've had supportive parents while growing up who let you do what you
In
want
fact,
to
they
do.
told me, you enjoy it, you like doing it, go ahead and do it. Literally.
Even into 2025, there are parents who do, maybe there'll be hardly a very few number, I don't know the exact ratio, which will let their children be. What is your word on them? Putting undue importance or too much of importance on education,
See,
snatching away the happiness.
there are two ways today. I think education is important. A child or a person should have a degree, because then they can stand on their own 2 feet anytime
Right.
anything happens.
Right.
It's very important. Let them do that. That's no this thing about it. But if they are passionate about something, whether it be drawing, whether it be martial arts, whether it be singing, whether it be DJing, whether it be radio, whether it be journalism, let them do it. I always believe, if that passion rules and they become successful, they live their life the way they want to live it,
Yeah.
and they're happy about it, and they're making money also.
Right.
If it doesn't work, they can always fall back on their degrees and always fall back on their studies.
Absolutely.
So it's important for parents to discover that kida in their kids, which will make them rock. Some sing well, some are passionate about,
Perhaps cooking
artificial
maybe. Yeah,
intelligence,
absolutely.
computers, they and do ethical hacking and whole lot of stuff.
Whole lot of stuff.
So let them live their life the way they want to live it. In today's world, if you tell your child, maybe he'll do it, but he will do it as if it's a burden on him. And trust me, if parents do that, force the child to do something they don't like, you may be happy ki hoega che doctor, hoega che engineer, but going ahead in life, trust me, they will go down the ladder, because they will not be happy with what they are doing. They will do it for the sake of doing it.
Yes.
They will be cranky, they'll be cribby, they will always, because they always wanted to do something, they have not done it.
Correct.
They are just living a life because they have nothing more they can do except be a doctor or an engineer.
Correct.
And they have to work on it.
Yes.
Of course, once they get solidly into it for 10 years, 15 years, 20
It
years,
becomes
then
a way
it
of
becomes
life for them. Absolutely. But they don't fail to understand the emotional baggage which is often there on children, which is passed down to generations.
Absolutely. And secondly, in today's world, I think feeling low and depression comes from children being overpushed. And in today's world, a child is no more, as I would say, unpad at the young age. They know everything. They know more than us.
Correct.
At a young age, they see television, they are on the phones, they're on computers, they're on internet. They will teach us a couple of things or two, or they'll give us better ideas. So I think it's always good to respect where your child stands out.
Right.
Encourage him, whether it be sports, whether it be anything, his passion. Encourage them and let them study. Let them finish their graduation.
That's the
Let
basic
them,
education.
yeah, let
you
them
want.
do their
Correct.
commerce, let them do their science. And after that, they feel, no, I want to go to my master's. That's okay. That's their decision.
Correct.
But if they feel, no, mama, I love painting, get them into painting. I know sometimes you say, "Err mudhe taka to nahi." But if they live their passion, if they enjoy what they are doing,
they'll make money.
you look at some of the painters which started from scratch, made millions and millions.
Right.
So that's the way life works. Right. Everything is not about money. I think today we need to be happy, we need to be passionate, and we need to enjoy what we are doing. It's very important.
Since we're talking about mental health, has anybody ever called you a therapist because of your show?
Yes, there have been many people. I've received many calls. Literally, in fact, I can literally write 2 books of stories which I've encountered on my show. I've received calls of people down, people wanting to end their lives, people having marital problems, divorce case. Whole lot of people on the phone live into radio and they speak their heart out.
Tell us one of the most memorable stories which is there in your head
one
vividly.
Of the most memorable stories, which also was a theme of the movie Contour.
Okay.
Where there was a scene where the girl was sitting on the ledge. Now, this actually happened to me years ago, where I received a call at about 1:30 in the night from a guy. That time the show used to be till 3 o'clock. And the first word he said live on line was, "Jimmy, I don't want to live anymore." So I said, "What's the issue?" He said, "No, I'm feeling very lonely. My dad's a businessman, has no time for me. My mom goes to kitty parties, she has no time for me." Then I said, "Do you have any siblings, brother, sister?" He said, "I have a sister, she's on her own trip. So I feel very lonely in the house. No one gives me any time." So then I asked him, I said, "What about, I think he was in class 12 or first year, I don't remember. What about, your college?" She's saying, "Yeah, jab ghar pe dost nahi hai, to college dur ki baat hai." That hit me. Then while I was talking to him, there was a lot of disturbance. Like, when you're talking on a mobile, you're going on a cab and you have that disturbance, noise and little breeze. So I asked him, "Where are you? I mean, why is all this noise there?" What he told me next gave me literally, my heart was in my mouth. He was standing on the 4th floor of the ledge, looking down 4 floors, and he was talking to me on the phone. That time, mobile phones had just kind of entered. He was from a well-to-do family. I spoke to him for 19 minutes. 19 minutes. And I was telling him, I said, "I feel lonely, this, that." And then in between also, he told me that, "Okay, I think I've disturbed you enough. I'll put the phone down." I said, "No, you don't have to, because, all of us have similar stories. We do feel lonely. We feel, as if, we are in our own world altogether, and we do feel down many a time. But you need to understand that you need to move forward. No one's going to do it for you." And I spoke to him for 19 minutes. After 19 minutes, I convinced him to come down and get back to his room. After 19 minutes. Today, we are good friends, and he's one of the biggest advocates in the Calcutta High Court. And every time we meet, he said, "My conversation with you and my calling into radio gave me a second life. If that conversation didn't happen, he most probably would have jumped." And there are hundreds of stories like that.
What a story.
And they're live and real. It's not that, so, various stories about how Calcutta came forward and saved a child's life. The father had come to my office one day. I didn't know who he was. He was crying at the entrance reception, and security told me, he said, "Someone's coming, both ro raha hai." I said, "Based on that." So he came to me, he said, "Sir, আমি কি করব? আমার বাচ্চা আছে, 3 সালের বাচ্চা আছে, leukemia আছে. I'm a bookseller from Behala. Bookseller from Behala, how much? 5-10,000 rupees a month, he must be earning profit. So I was really, he was saying, "কি করব স্যার, আমি 6 মাস পড়াচ্ছি, সব দিকে করছে, 1.5-2 lakh টাকা I've collected. Operation is 18 lakhs. So he's saying, "I don't mind selling myself also." He was really in tears. I said, "Don't worry." He said, "Radio কিছু করতে পারবে?" I said, "Don't worry, we'll try it." So we came up with the line, "Have a heart, save a life." And we appealed. And that was, I think, it was end of February or end of January, I don't remember. And we appealed across. You won't believe it. school students, industrialists. Shanapin Dinda, the painter, painted and we auctioned that paint. We collected 21 lakhs in 16 days. The money
Amazing.
was sent for his treatment. His 1.5-year-old sister, bone marrow was transplanted into his. And then 1 year we took care of the post care treatment for 1 year, and funds were provided by city and Calcutta. Everybody came forward, tons of people. After that 1 year, he came back to Calcutta, and he was in Chennai 1 year post treatment. 1 year he came back to Calcutta, and then okay, happy matter over with. 2 years ago, I was taking an online RJ class for my sister company. Suddenly, I see this young girl, bubbly class 8 girl, jumping and all that, and she's smiling, very sweet. So she's smiling away and she said, "Sir, I want to tell you something." I said, "What?" She said, "No, you know my brother very well." I said, "Know your brother very well." Then suddenly there was another bubbly guy in class 10 or 11 jumping behind. It's the same guy. His sister's bone marrow transplant
Wow.
so many years back. He's hale and
Giving me
hearty.
goosebumps,
He's
yeah.
studying. He's
Such a
living his
great
life well,
story.
thanks to the City of Joy,
That's
which made
a
it happen.
great story. To end this podcast, my last question to you would be: what does your alma mater, what does St. Xavier's College, Calcutta mean to you?
It's very difficult to describe this because it's beyond words. But I can say, to a large extent, what I am today is thanks to my alma mater. 2 houses we have. One is our house with our parents, and the next house is our institution. So it's literally been a part of my life. From the naughtiness to the positiveness to the importance to the responsibilities, it's taught us a lot. And I owe my alma mater a lot. In fact, today I'm where I am to a large extent. Today I engage with people. Today I know people to a large extent is thanks to my alma mater. And it gave me a little focus. It gave me that standing to become a man, to stand on my own feet, to experience. Because you see, we are 8 hours in the house, 10 hours in the house. We are
Right.
equally 8-10 hours in the college or school.
Yes.
And beautiful memories. And I think, I would love it if I can rewind back to a college or school.
Always, yeah.
And it means the world to me. And I think it's home.
Jimmy, I've also heard that you were quite popular with the girls in college.
Was it so?
Yeah.
That's
A
news
very,
to me.
very close friend of yours has told me this.
Okay. You know what? Maybe I was very popular with the girls because I was a DJ. I had foreign bikes I used to zoom around.
Wow.
But trust me, I was very shy of girls. Because most of the time I used to DJ behind the DJ box, everybody used to be dancing.
Right.
Okay, I used to zoom on the bike. The only time ladies used to come with me when they wanted to ride on the bike. And I never used to party. I never used to go out on dates. So maybe, yes, I could have been popular. We don't know. That is for other people to say. But yes, being in radio, I am known. And people respect us for our profession.
Right.
Because we are connecting lives.
Right. Absolutely.
And even when we are DJing, people used to jump to our beats, jump to our tune, enjoy the music. I think somewhere or another, I think respect also comes upon what you do, how you do it, and who you are.
Absolutely.
And the most important thing is be a good human being. Doesn't matter if you're not a crorepati, doesn't matter if you're a rickshawala, doesn't matter if you're not that famous. You could be no one. But if you're a good human being, you'll always be remembered for what you are.
Absolutely.
Whether it be in a pada, whether it be in an office, whether it be in a country. Simple and neat. That's it.
Jimmy sir, it was a pleasure talking to
My
you.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much
really,
for coming down. And I think it was wonderful on behalf of the entire team of Twisted Truths. We would like
It
to
was
wish
wonderful
you
to be with
all
your
the
entire
best.
team. You guys rock. Keep rocking. Keep bringing out Twisted Truths the way you want to bring it out. And wish you guys all the love, all the best and success for years to come.
And
Thank you
keep
so much.
enjoying music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If music can change your mood, can change your life, can change your path. It's just that moment what you're listening to.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.